Download the BCSN Plus app today. Visit bcsnnation.com for details. On the Diamond with Duane is brought to you by State Farm agent Julie Spann Johnson. Covering your bases and protecting your future. Call Julie for all of your insurance needs.
The rain is wreaking havoc on district softball, but we've still gotten a couple games in so far. So as we kick things off for this week's edition of On the Diamond with Duane, I got to know, do you have any early reaction so far to the postseason softball we've seen?
Well, there's been pretty much what you expected, okay? The teams that are seeded and are pretty much moving on. So as this week and next week progresses, that's really going to tell the story of who's going to advance onto that regional and onto the state tournament.
As we focus our attention on the tournament, it's easy to forget that we've crowned some recent conference champions. That includes in the City League, and Lima Senior, their second year in the conference, comes away with the crown.
Yes, they did. And going undefeated in the league this year was one of the goals that Rob Nelson, when I talked to him, had set for his team. And I believe you talked to him a little bit after their championship, and he's ball of fire and all excited. That was their first ever softball championship. And with Jack Kooffer pitching, and they had 5 players over 400 this year, they ended up with an overall record of 16-7. So hats off to Coach Nelson for what he's done with that program to advance it to where it's at.
Fitting then that the Spartans were our team of the week, but as we turn to our player of the week, it comes from the Northern Buckeye Conference. The Maumee Panthers and their catcher, Taylor Smith.
Yeah, Taylor once again is leading that team, and talking to Brian today, he said, you know, without her, she is instrumental in the main key reasons, one of them, that they have had winning seasons the last couple of years. And she comes into there once again, she's leading the team with a .562 batting average. She's got 7 home runs, she's got 31 RBIs. Once again, she got selected for first team NBC and first team NWO, second year in a row that she was selected. And this year she even got selected as second team All-Ohio. And we're going to be very fortunate. Tomorrow BCSN is going to be covering some games out at Clay, and we're going to see her in action against Central Catholic at 6 o'clock in the district semifinals. And just before that, we get the benefit of seeing Springfield and Notre Dame playing at 4 o'clock. We have also a game out at Defiance being played between Napoleon and St. Mary's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So there's some games, weather permitting, that's going to go on yet this week that's going to help that state tournament kind of show itself.
So as we look ahead now with the postseason and teams starting to get eliminated, Duane, how does that factor into your top 10?
Well, the top 10, just like tonight, I'm not sure if it went off, Otsego and Archibald were scheduled to play each other. So, you know, someone's going to get knocked out of that state tournament because of win or go home. Right now, they're all still in. So that's exciting stuff. We've had a little bit of change here. I moved Eastwood up because Lake lost to Otsego this past week. And Oak Harbor took out both Otsego and Archibald last week, so I moved them up on our list. Other than that, same top 10 we've been working with this past couple weeks.
So we turn now to those great softball players who will be heading off to the college ranks next year. Who would you like to highlight this week, Duane?
Well, this week we got a couple of them. A couple juniors, okay, from Perrysburg. We got Morgan Hoverman that's going to go to Purdue Fort Wayne. And then we have from Gibsonburg, Cheyenne Reese that's going on to West Liberty. You know, they got another year that we get to watch them, and then following year we'll be able to see how they do up at the collegiate level.
And then we move on to the players who are currently at the collegiate ranks, and that includes someone we actually just got the chance to chat with recently in Whiteford alum, Allie Van Brandt.
Yeah, and Allie again is doing Allie things. And you know, last year she led the Indiana Hoosiers with a .369 batting average. This year, she started all 54 games. She batted .372, had 41 runs and 58 hits. As a sophomore, that's awesome. And to compare what Indiana with the record that they had got a bid to the NCAA tournament, which we all know was very tough, and you could watch it over the weekend. So besides all those things, she also got selected to second team all regions. So she's doing some great stuff there in Indiana and making us very proud.
And now we'll get to see her moving forward also as the vocal leader that she hopes to become from the conversation we had earlier this week.
Exactly.
But Duane, thanks so much, of course, for always being here. And we've still got more softball to look forward to moving forward.
Yep. Thank you very much for having me.